What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your brew master in chief. And tonight in the BrewLab, I'm checking in on one of the tribes, as I said I would be doing over the next couple of days. The one that I think has received probably the most upgrades from Alchemy is Werewolves. And there's a couple of ways that you can build it, and so I've done both, or at least as far as the mana base is concerned. And I'm gonna give you guys a couple of games with each, so we can at least try and discover which of the two feels best and how it should be built going forward. And we will try and jump back in at the end of the video and see if we've answered that question. So without further ado, let's jump into both brews. I'm going to start with the one I'm just calling Alchemy Wolves, and then we can look at Snow Wolf version 3 in a second. So, Alchemy Wolves is just playing normal mana. We've got creature lands, Lair, Den of the Bugbear, Pathways, the new Chill lands, couple of Field of Ruins, and some basics. And the card choices, therefore, are a little bit different. We don't have access to Blizzard Brawl. We don't have access to Frostbite. So we have to make do with different fight spells and different removal. And this gives us an opportunity to test out another new card from Alchemy, which is called Ravenous Pursuit. And they made a mistake with this one. When it was initially spoiled, it was shown as an instant, which would have made this insanely better. It's a pity it isn't. It's actually a huge problem. But we get to test the new card and see if it's worth a spot. I mean, Blizzard Brawl is also sorcery speed. So, and this has a pretty cool upside. So basically, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So it's not essentially a fight spell. It deals damage equals to its power, which is quite cool because, sometimes the creature's power is bigger than your toughness in a fight spell, and both the creatures die. And that's why Blizzard Brawl is so good, because it gives indestructibility in those situations. In this situation, your creature doesn't actually fight the other creature, so you don't have to face that problem. And then you choose a creature card in your hand, and it perpetually gets +X/+X, where X is the amount of excess damage dealt this way. So that part is a little bit harder to set up, because you obviously need a creature that's much bigger, dealing, fighting or dealing damage equal to its power to a creature that's much smaller, so that there is a lot of excess damage, so that you actually get to, and then you still also need to have a card in hand, a creature card in hand. So it's a little bit harder to set up, but it can be really good. There's some situations in which that's really good. Let's say you take out like a 2/2 Luminarch Aspirant with your like 4/4 Nighttime Tovolar Midnight Scourge, and then you give your Bloodrage Alpha that you're going to be playing the following turn an additional +2/+2 when it hits the board, and it comes into play as a 6/5. That's pretty cool. So let's test it out. Let's see how it goes. And then there's one other new card from Alchemy, which you've definitely seen by now if you played the format at all, which is the Tenacious Pup. And I like how they've done this. They've made some like really potent, like almost like, wow, what the hell, potent uncommons, so that the free-to-play players and stuff can get a taste of Alchemy and get to play with some of the actually really powerful cards from the set without having to spend too many rare and mythic wild cards. And Tenacious Pup is definitely one of those. It seems way too overstated for an uncommon. It's a 1-drop, 1/2. When it ETBs, you gain a life, which is already like, wow. And then when you cast your next creature spell, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter, a trample counter, and a vigilance counter on it. Ridiculous, I know. And there's a lot of good 2-drops they followed up with. So, namely, last new card from the set that I haven't touched upon yet, Rahilda, the wanted Cutthroat. The only issue I've had with Rahilda so far is that she's so good that she has a huge target on her back, and the opponents just want to get rid of her straight away. As soon as she hits the battlefield, it's like, okay, she's gone. So we need to have ways to protect her, and that's why I'm running 3 copies of Snakeskin Veil. I'm hoping and interested to see whether that'll be enough, because we really are trying to make sure that she survives for a few turns, because it's a pretty sweet card. So if she ETBs... Oh, I feel a sneeze attack coming. Is that it? Yes, it is. Pardon me. Welcome to the BrewLab. We sneeze over here. She comes into play after Tenacious Pup. That means she's a 3/3 with Trample, Vigilance, and potentially either double strike or first strike, based depending on whether it's day or night. And when she deals combat damage to a player, you exile a non-land card from their library at random. During any turn you attacked with a wolf or werewolf, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. So very reminiscent of an old friend, or maybe I should say hated enemy. Where is it? The 2-drop. Here it is, Robber of the Rich. Very similar. Imagine if Rahilda had haste. That would make it a lot better, but it's already really good. Similar thing to Robber of the Rich, that you need to have a rogue attacking to then recast those cards even later in the game. So even if you just get it in a couple of times and you steal a couple of really cool cards from the opponent's library, and the cool thing is it's a digital only thing where you exile a non-land card from their library at random. It just pulls a card out. It can be anything. And then later in the game, even if they kill Rahilda, you attack with one of your other creatures, suddenly that card will become castable again, and you can spend mana of any color to cast it. Really cool. And of course at nighttime she gains double strikes, so you could potentially steal 2 cards. Epic new 2-drop, hoping to follow her up from a Tenacious Pup. Then we did need a little bit of life gain, and I'm not running the other 2-drop from Midnight Hunt that gains +1/+1 counter. Every turn it's on the board with another wolf. I can't remember the name of the card now. But that was another way of getting a bit of life. We needed some space in the 2-drop slot, and so we went with Inscription of Abundance instead, which also doubles as a fight spell as well as growing one of our creatures. So love Inscription of Abundance. It's one of my favorite cards, absolutely, from Zendikar Rising. Then we've got 3 copies of Ranger class. I wish we could play 4. It's that good. We all know, like, those late game, like, you've managed to destroy everything that mono green deploys. We're like turn 6, turn 7, and you think you finally rounded the corner, and they've still got a leveled up to level 3 Ranger class on the board, and then they just get one of those lucky turns where, like, the next 3 or 4 cards on their library are creatures, and they just cast everything off the top of their library, and suddenly they've got a fresh new board again, even though their hand was empty. It's really, really good. So we're going to be using it in exactly the same way in this Gruul Werewolf list. Of course, giving our wolves the ability to grow every turn is great. The cool thing about this is, if we get that combo going that I was talking about, when Rahilda is the drop after Tenacious Pup, she has Vigilance. The opponent isn't that keen to block a first striking 2/2 on turn 3. That has now become a 3/3 because you've leveled up your Ranger class, and so on and so forth. And because of the Vigilance, you've still got the blocker and the Trample. Incredible. Then we've already touched upon Ravenous Pursuit, so I'm not going to talk about that again. I always try and run 4 Kessig Naturalists in all my Werewolves deck, because it's a non-legendary anthem effect for the deck. You could have potentially 2 or 3 Lord of the Ulvenwalds on the battlefield buffing all of our team. That's pretty good. And of course the ramp is fantastic. Sometimes you're stalling on 3 lands and you're able to cast your 4 drops from attacking with Kessig Naturalist. which is also, if you don't have Rahilda in hand, a great 2-drop to follow Tenacious Pup, because having a slightly bigger Kessig Naturalist is definitely a good thing, and having it have vigilance and still being able to create that mana and still stay as a blocker. And then at night time, if you've put that +1/+1 counter on it, it would be a 4/4. So pretty beefy little guy there. So if you don't have a good 2-drop to follow up a Tenacious Pup, then don't worry about playing a Kessig Naturalist, because that's not bad either. Then we've got a full play set of Moonrage's Slash, and I'm running this because it's essentially a 1-drop. It's fitting the same place as Frostbite would in the snow base, mana base version of this deck. It's just a 1 mana for 3 damage. But the cool thing about Moonrage's Slash is, unlike Frostbite, you can go face. So I like that additional bit of reach. This is the type of deck that often is able to get a control deck down to 3-4 life, and then they turn the corner, sweep the board, and you struggle a little bit to rebuild. Moonrage's Slash can just go face and sometimes win games. So I like that aspect of the card compared to Frostbite. Let's see how it performs. This is the real question about werewolves. How much removal do you run? Which is the best? Can you run sweepers in a creature deck? Is the aggro plan enough? I don't know. But this next card is definitely one that helps it be so. Reckless Stormseeker doesn't need another reintroduction. It's beast. The ability to give the next thing that comes into play haste, or itself haste when it comes into play, the turn it comes into play, is just so good. And of course at nighttime also gives trample. So really good card, of course. Then we've got 3 copies of Tovolar. I've only gone with 3 because it's legendary, but you do really want to make sure you get this guy every turn. So I'm thinking of dropping maybe 1 Bloodrage Alpha to go for a full place of Tovolar, because alongside with Ranger class, it's the only other way we're drawing cards. I've notably cut the Werewolf Pack Leader from the 2-drop slot, which was one other way of drawing cards with Pack Tactics, but I felt that it wasn't so consistent, whereas Tovolar is definitely more consistent. There's a higher chance of at least one werewolf from somewhere getting in for some damage. So yeah, maybe we'll adjust some numbers along the way, BrewLab style, as usual. Then we come to the 4-drops, and there's one new card here left from Alchemy, the Bloodrage Alpha, and this kind of allows us to maybe run a little bit more creatures than removal than we would, because it's kind of like a removal spell, or at least a fight spell on a creature, or not kind of, it is a fight spell on a creature, and quite a versatile one at that. You can either have it ETB and one of the wolves you already have on the board fights a creature you don't control, or you can have it ETB and say that the wolf that will be cast the following, the next one that you cast fights target creature you don't control. So a fight spell stapled onto a 4/3. Let's see if it deserves a spot in the deck, or should we just be playing more Arlinns, or there's the new Foretell Wolf. I'm running it in my mono green Stompy deck actually. 1L? No. Oh, it's because I'd switched it to historic. Silly me. What's it called? Here, Lupine Harbingers. Maybe this is the better option. Or maybe we just put 1 or 2 of each. Because Lupine Harbingers can be an 8/8 on turn 6 with trample and haste. So, something to consider. Again, might slip it in for a couple of games at some point during tonight's video. But that's Alchemy Wolves version 1. And before we jump into gameplay footage, I'll just quickly pop into Snow Wolves version 3 and just discuss the glaring difference. Pretty much everything else is exactly the same. We've got the 3 Cutthroats, we've got the Snakeskin Veils, the Tenacious Pups, the Naturalist, the Ranger classes, the Tovolars, the Alphas, the Arlinn. Everything is pretty much the same, just a few numbers adjusted here and there. The main difference is, of course, Snowlands. So we're running a full snow base, which means it's very difficult to run pathways, because then you don't get up to enough snow quick enough to get your snow payoffs reliably, like the 3 mana required to do Blizzard Brawl and get indestructibility, or the ability to buff Frostbite up to 3 damage instead of 2. So you have to play the Highland Forest, which makes it a little bit slower, but it is okay, thanks to Rockfall Vale. And then we do get to play Faceless Haven as our creature land. Is that better or worse? And of course, that means we have access to Frostbite and Blizzard Brawl as our removal instead of what I was running in the other deck, the new fight spell. And so I'm going to play mostly focusing on the other one, but we will have a couple of games tagged in at the end with this one, just to see which of the two feels better, especially in terms of like curving out nicely. How does the mana go? And then we'll make a judgment call at the end of the video. But all right, those are the brews. Let's jump into some games. Chuffs. Now, at this point in my videos, as usual, is when I like to do a little bit of self-promotion. So if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, kindly consider doing so. We are well on our way to 500 subs. Had a nice little boost over the last couple of days. We are doing a giveaway at 500 subs, so if you'd like to take part, you need to be a subscriber. Also, don't forget to do all that other good YouTube stuff, if you could be so kind. Like the video, leave a comment. Oh, what a horrible mulligan. And hit the bell icon if you want to be notified of future daily uploads. Alrighty. Alrighty. Mulligan down, 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 down. Unfortunately. That's a huge problem in an aggro deck, of course. That was terrible. With not too much... and against control. This is the new best deck in the format. Like, it's gonna be the, like, yawn-inducing, like, oh god, here we go again. Turn 1 Shambling Ghast, or turn 1 Eye Twitch, or turn 1 the new witch. Can't remember her name. Doesn't mean what it used to mean anymore. It used to mean, you know, blood on the snow and lolth, and it still could, but nowadays it's probably sanguine brushstroke. Okay, we are just flooding out completely. There's very little land in this deck. They both have 22, I believe. I'm going to double check after this match for you guys. I know the snow one does have 22, for sure. I can't remember how many this one has. Oh wait, I can check in my deck tracker here. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's 22. And with whatever. Fell Stinger is another absolute house in the deck. It's like card draw, sack outlet, and a great blocker against aggro. Like mono white, myself right now, we don't want to be attacking into that 3/2 death touch, and it just effectively stonewalls, gains them time to do everything that... I'm telling you guys, it's the streamer's curse. It's a thing. That's what I get for mulliganing, but I mean, that opening hand was impossible to keep. Okay, I mean, we play it out. I'm not going to concede, but that's ridiculous. Okay. Lolth still finding its way into the deck. I mean, it might not be the brushstroke, sanguine brushstroke, but I just don't see why not. A creature! Okay, so we've got that Ravenous Pursuit, we've got Moonrage's Slash, we've got Inscription of Abundance. And what do you do in a situation like this? He's clearly just going to block the Fell Stinger with the... I mean the Charger with the Fell Stinger. It's enough trample damage to get through. The opponent realizing that too, instead of going for the triple block.
Exchange for loyalty.
He's just gonna do Blood on the Snow very soon. Bring it back, so... And you can attack with it, the whole squad. Sorry, buddy. Sucks to be you. I kept my wolf and you lost your gas. Don't know if that's gonna do much. But, you know, we dodged one sweeper. Oh, Tovolar, baby. How are you? Drawing some cards is just... oh, priceless. Can't second cast, or it switches back to dead. Anyway, we continue with our flooding adventures. Of course, here comes the Blood on the Snow. No? Whew. Okay. Just give me some removal. All I want is removal. Tasty, tasty removal. Any one of my spells will do against the Stinger. We need to keep drawing cards. I mean, guys, you're watching this with me, right? This is ridiculous. I'm not the only person who thinks that that is a ridiculous amount of lands off the top of one's freaking library. Yeah, go for it. Attaboy. I haven't cast a thing. Switches back to night. Now the Blood on the Snow. Used to really piss me off. And if you've got it, just don't make me suffer here. Even worse. Mutic Massacre is a very good card. Those of you who don't know. This has to be the most epic flood yet. Nice. Like... those of you who've been watching me for a while, you know it's pretty bad on the channel with the flooding, but this has got to be one of the all-time. If I top deck another land, I'll call the Guinness Book of Records. That's a nice addition. I just still don't see the Sanguine. I guess he hasn't drawn it, or he hasn't got too many copies of it. Woohoo! Then go level 3 Warlock class. That's nasty. Imagine they'd buff that instead of... So now we take 4. You've got to be kidding me, guys. That was the gnarliest on record as the worst flood on the channel, I think. Wow. Alright, so I mean it can only get better from there. Surely. Can't get any worse than that. Right? I mean, drew like 6 or 7 lands back to back and 1 Kessig Naturalist in the whole game. Tovolar there at some point, I think. Arcanus. Double Rahilda. Let's give it a try. One gets taken, we got a backup Rahilda. Mono white, huh? Oof. So I play out the pup, he plays out an incredible mono white 2-drop. Yeah. Double strike, 1-1. Doesn't beat my first striking 2-2, however. Green or red? What's nothing with double pips. But we've got mostly red cards in hand. Yes, dude, it's my go. 3-3. Trample Vigilance first strike. Seems pretty good. Opponent bricks, no. Of course. Man, turn 3 against mono white is just punishment. Just straight up punishment. And there'll be a brutal Cathar now. Like 90% chance of a brutal Cathar coming my way. Being on the draw against. Okay. Here comes the brutal Cathar now off of the Inquisitor Caplet. I mean, oh, I just want to quit. So rage-inducing. Notice that it's the tax is only that turn with Captain Eberhard, which I quite like. I don't know how we're gonna win this, guys. Yeah, I know it's my go, dude. Thank you. So far, my experience of Gruul Werewolves is just very, very underwhelming from day one, and I don't feel like this pup really makes it much better. I mean, of course it does, but it doesn't mean that it beats like you almost never beat mono white. Mono green matchup is terrible. All the Izzet guys, you don't have many good answers against. The aggro plan isn't quite quick enough. It's definitely a fun thing with all the howling wolves and stuff, but I don't know. There's a reason why we haven't seen a single werewolf deck in any competitive event, or anybody sort of in the top whatever mythic ranks, at least that has a YouTube channel that I know of. That's been getting there consistently with werewolves. So I don't know. And this Bloodrage Alpha, let's see. We give it another couple games. I don't think I did anything bad or misplayed any part of those games, and I think the deck is well built. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that if you think I'm mistaken. I think the real problem here is just that the other decks in the meta are much better. Azorius Control with that new key card is really, really good. This is probably what we're facing now. Doomscar. I'm not gonna play another creature. Might be just Fading Hope. Divide by 0. Wow. Wow. Surprise, surprise. Never would have expected that. Told ya. I told ya. This card is really lame. I just don't like it at all. It's just too much. This whole thing of drafting things from spellbooks is just not for me. But hey, I don't mind you bouncing my ranger class. That's okay. I wonder what he got. That's just obscene. And then Doomscar. Guaranteed. 100% chance of a Doomscar. Luckily we have a hasty creature. Okay, so he's gonna even keep his Doomscar for another day. Makes it even more annoying. Or it could be a sword coming with the 2 mana from the key. Yep. Huh? Okay.
I'm familiar with bullies like you.
I'm familiar. Wow, that's good. A 4 mana rock that makes 2 mana of any combination. I've only got 2 copies of the key. I've been looking at an Esper control coming up soon. But yeah, probably should try and get a full playset. They are just rares.
Don't worry.
Fateful Absence.
Only a little mystery.
Doomblade. Like, this is just too much. There's too many good cards in here, and like, I don't know. It's too random. Gross, I mean, come on. Come on. It's only a 4-drop, and you can, of course, blink it.
Only time will tell.
He activates his hall. He can block. Control decks are too good right now. And the mid range hasn't quite like made the reappearance that we all thought it might. So this could become a 5/5 if I attack. Right? And then we can buff it to a 1, 2, 3, 4 for an additional 4. So become a, we could, you know, we could have 9 power and kill the hall and still get through for damage and draw a card. Yeah, that's the play. Hall activation. 5. Okay. Could have just done that in the first place. Is that Alrune's Epiphany? That would really be gross. Okay. So Ranger class doing what it does best. Beating the new card, I guess. It's not enough to get through a hole. I'll get a second Ranger class down next turn. That should be... At least I can try and trade with the hole. What? Did he manage? No, there's that. I've played against this deck where the guy gets the Approach of the Second Sun and actually wins with it. It was Disgusting. Disgusting. Nothing to fight, of course. At least, I mean, he can still activate the hole with these things. Ooh. Who cares at this point? It's probably a Doomscar anyway. Really? What a strange choice. Wow, I'm really happy you went for that. Now we've got the Veil, if it's targeted removal, but it's probably Doomscar. He's been saving it. Purge, huh? So all my 3-drops. This is in my Esper control deck. It's an incredible card. Like, what the hell just happened kind of card. Fortunately, we have quite a bit of mana. Might be able to actually capitalize on this. Oh, they come into play tapped though. Do we have enough? No. Gosh darn it. It's nuts, right? This purge. Absolutely nutty. This foretold card's just been sitting there the entire game. It's probably Alrinn's Epiphany if I know these people. Oh no, this is another new card which is gonna... I mean, what the heck is this? Okay. There's ways to reduce the cost of this first of all. And 6 mana isn't that much anyway. Basically draw 3. And those the rest of the cards in your hand perpetually get cost 1 less to cast. It's busted. And I don't trust the Seek algorithm. Not one bit, I tell you. Finally. Look at this. I haven't seen a single copy of Arlinn. There's only 2 in this deck, but see. Oh my god, that is the worst deck to play against. Like, just... Bleh. So far, my opinion of Gruul Wolves is total underperformer in Alchemy. Let's see if the snow lands make any difference. Power level of Alchemy is just too high. There's too many good cards. And the control decks, this has been my experience so far. I'd love to hear your thoughts. The control decks have better comeback mechanics, if that's a good way to put it. Oof. Consistently getting them down to like 1-2 life, and then they just win the game. Need a red sauce. Thank you. Very, very much. We're against Izzet. Is it gonna be fast enough against Izzet? It's another Hullbreaker horror deck. That card is horrible. It should never have been made. Ever. It's really just too much. I don't know what they were smoking. Take that. We're gonna take that. Three mana burn down the house. What? It's been a good night here, guys. Great games. A lot of smooth, easy wins. We managed to have a lot of things stay on the battlefield. Put the counters not on the Kessig Naturalist, so that the opponent is de-incentivized to... Oh, that's beautiful. Target it. High probability of chance that it will stay on the board. So when the A-Faceless Havens need to start doing some work. Oh, me. now you have to block. Or do you have another Fading Hope in your hand? So that would be disgusting. Oh, that's nice. I'm okay with that. He's obviously got something, right? Well, we've got to try it. We've anyway got mana left over for Tovolar after. It's a big haven. Oops. We got lucky. We got lucky, but we got him. Oh, that just makes the whole night infinitely better. Nice little match there. Made it through 2 burn down the houses, including 1 3-mana burn down the house. We are approaching the 1 hour mark, which means this is the last match of the night. Didn't fit in as many as I thought we would. I don't know. I like the simplicity of the snow mana base because you know, okay, I just have 8 removal spells, Frostbite, and Blizzard Brawl, and then you can just put more focus on the other cards. Like in this one, there's 4 Tovolars, so consistently getting it in your opening hand. And you know, the forests, these tap lands aren't too bad. You usually get one in your opening hand. You can just play it on turn 1. I'll keep this. Probably go Kessig first. It depends on what color lands the opponent plays. If it's black or red, then I might just keep. Ooh. Okay. A Zemira. Is it going to be Zemira? I don't know. Looks to be mono green. If he plays a troll on top of the pup, bad. Bad, bad, bad. Becomes a 4/4 Vigilance Trample Troll that we have nothing in the deck except for a big Blizzard Brawl maybe. Okay. Okay. Okay, we can still do this. Oof, I have to play this, unfortunately, because I want to Blizzard Brawl that guy out of existence. Which is just fan-bloody-tastic, if you ask me. Whew. Ooh, we're switching it tonight. No. Yes, no. Casting something or leveling up your ranger class? Okay, so it stays there. In that case, I'm going to play two naturalists. I worry a little bit less about a Seeker's Chariot coming down now, than I used to. That's great. So we got time for another match. Fantastico. Opponent bricked out a little bit there, but that was great. The Blizzard Brawl. Proving once again how good that card is. Truly. Last match of the day. End on a victory. Come on. We had a horrible first couple of games, not through any fault of mine. Just really sluggy and control-y. Bad matchups, basically. Mr. Hammock. What is this? What is this? Luckily, we're on the draw. That's much better. Oh, Vale's gonna be good against black. Haven't seen a single Arlinn in like 4 matches now. We get the only 2 in the deck. Oh wait, are there more in this brew? Oh no, that's the only 2 in the deck. Interesting. That's a 4/4 Tovolar with Trample and Vigilance, but I have a bad feeling he's just about to get like anything that black plays. Block and sack. The old block and sack with Deadly Dispute. No? Cool. Wish I had one open in green mana, but it's just the only. It's that always that point when you place the Veil, where like you play the card out and you gotta wait until the next turn. Okay. Now we're good. Now we're drawing cards and we have protection against spot removal. We don't have. Ooh, we drew a blue land, so it might be zombies or something. 2 cards is freaking epic. But Dimir is, I mean, a little bit more scary, no? I've got 2 Arlinns, so I'm gonna give it a try. Oh baby. Kept a risky opening hand with the 3 like wonky lands. We pulled it through. Opponent must have had a really rubbish hand or something, but when you manage to get that curve, like wow. Switches to Knight, play Arlinn -0, boom. I mean, you could have still survived one more turn, but I'm assuming he just had nothing to answer this power. Power. Alright. We've made it to the end at the 1 hour mark. Just in the nick of time. And I will call it a night for this particular tribe. In this final thoughts segment of the video, let's just quickly jump back into the brews and discuss what we learned along the way. The first question we posed at the beginning of the video was with regards to the mana base. And to be honest, the snowlands didn't feel bad. They didn't feel so bad that it's a problem. And the Blizzard Brawl felt so much better than the other removals that I still prefer this as the best way to play Gruul Werewolves right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you got other Gruul Werewolf builds that you'd like to send me? Please send them to the email address in the YouTube About tab for my channel. I love to see your deck lists. That's like one of my favorite things to do. So send them on over if you've got other werewolf decks that you'd like me to see. There's obviously ones that play like 24, 25 lands that go into the 5 and 6 drops. But I like to keep it aggro planned and slim and efficient like this. And I think this is the build that I will be putting in the video description down below, as well as uploading to the hub for you guys to copy and enjoy. But all right, we didn't get to see Rahilda stealing things off the top of the library. Like I said, it's a really good card. Every time you play it, it gets killed straight away. But the one game there we were about to, and the opponent conceded. Yeah, I think she's going to make an appearance in a future deck. I'll give you guys a quick idea. It's got something to do with the Curse of Hospitality, which I loved so much. Can you imagine all your creatures have trample and they're stealing things off the top of your library, and you've also got Rahilda in your deck? Stay tuned for that. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all in the next one. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.